There we go. All right. Welcome to the WolfShadePodcast, episode 44. I am your host, WolfShade. We do dumb antics on here. We talk about anime, gaming. I usually have a bunch of people on here where we go back and forth on anime and stuff. So we all just talking on a quiet, blissful Wednesday evening. And I'm surprised the sun is not going down yet. But at the end of the day, I'm just bringing good content like I normally do. And as you see, I got an awesome guest that welcome to join me. And she wanted to join me talking about, cooking, a bunch of other stuff, and a lot of juicy details. And I'm gonna introduce her. This is a good friend of mine, aka Miss Judge Me About My Height. This is Miss Sinna. How you doing today?
Hello, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Yeah,
This
I
will be
told you,
fun.
I told you I had to get you on here eventually because, like, I was talking about, anime and a bunch of other stuff before, other stuff, and then when I was doing the podcast with someone else, I was like, wait, I gotta get sent on here, and then once Katie tells me about her schedule, I'm gonna get her on here, so it's gonna be a lot of like anime talking about because it's been pretty good so far this year. But how you doing now?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, you've been trying to get me on the podcast pretty much like after like a few times that we met. You're like, you know what? Come join my podcast. You'd be fun to talk to. So I'm
No,
like excited to do this.
the,
I've
the, the,
never done anything like this.
you never done like a little panel thing or podcast thing
Nah,
before?
never.
Dang, this is like everybody's first today.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you say you're doing good. How's life going?
Life's going pretty good. I can't really complain too much. I am dealing with a lot of stuff, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
Hold on.
Actually got fired 2 weeks or the week before Katsu. So that was pretty fun. So I'm just looking for a new job.
Hey, you'll get a new one as soon as possible. But like when you told me that at Katsu, I was just like, dang, that was lingering on my mind for a good minute. If I was helping out with panels and stuff like a good long period, and then you got Awesome Con this Friday, and I gotta pick up my badge for that.
I know I haven't picked up my badge either. I'm gonna go try to pick it up tomorrow in Wheaton.
Yeah, I gotta go pick mine's up on Friday, but on Thursday I'm getting like a Roroni Kenshin tattoo on my arm right here. So I'm like, cool.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Getting a tattoo is not fun. Let's just letting you know that. But
I don't
you
have
know,
any, so I wouldn't know.
y-
I don't think I
y-
could do it because I am very sensitive to pain. I am not a fan of pain, so
so they had the option just to like give you certain stuff to ease off the pain, you still wouldn't get a tattoo.
nah, can I say this? I'm a little bitch.
Now this is 100% uncensored. You can say whatever you want, but
Yeah,
like
I'm a little bitch when it comes to pain. So like I would probably cry. And I'm thinking like if I got a tattoo, where's like the least painful spot? They're all painful. So
it's actually not really that painful unless you get used to it, to be honest, because when it comes to it just depends on a certain spot of the tattoo where you was getting it from because the 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 very first one I got, the Attack on Titan one on my right leg, is just like behind the ankle, behind the ankle where the Achilles is at. That was the painful part to me.
I
And
heard,
then
see, I hear that that's painful, that this is painful, that this is painful. Like the only part that I hear isn't painful is like the fleshy part of your arm and like your thigh.
yeah, like this one I got on my arm. This one really wasn't even that painful. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's like a slap in the face. So
I'm
it's
like,
it's
I don't even like to be pinched though. Like that's how sensitive I am. So like I just tattoos probably just not in my cards. I'll settle
so,
for like those temporary tattoos. You know what I mean?
so you literally like not a huge fan of needles too.
I don't mind needles, but tattoos, they're like such low on the priority triangle.
That's kind of funny. You don't mind needles, but the little tattoo thing just literally like aching needles, like just. But I get what you mean by that though.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, it's like, I get that done tomorrow, so that's gonna be a good one. So um it's gonna be a good weekend. I ain't gonna front, but to go along with topic here and everything, from the last week or so we've been talking. You've mentioned to me like a whole bunch of stuff about cooking and stuff, and you said you have like a very fair share of stuff that you love to cook. Like, explain your cooking journey to me.
Oh, cooking journey. Okay. Let's see. I started cooking from a pretty young age. I've always loved cooking. Um, I've always cooked for my family. I love telling this story that I used to make like I know a hamburger helper is like nothing crazy or special, but I always have spiced up everything that I make. And the way that I cook the hamburger helper, my brother
Hmm.
always liked it. And like growing up, you know how siblings are. You can't compliment your sibling. And so growing up, he would ask my mom, say, "Hey, can you ask Cindy to make it?" Because he wanted it, but he would never directly ask me to make it. So my mom would then say, "Oh, I feel like having hamburger helper today." And then eventually she told me, "Oh, every time I ask is because your brother wanted it. It's because he liked it that much that he wanted you to make it." So that was a pretty funny. I love telling that story though. Um,
It, it's
Go
just
ahead.
like you up the ante on the spices when it comes to food.
Yeah, I mean, I just love like my cooking's almost never the same. Like I'll have like a base recipe, but I tend to forget about certain stuff. So I'm like, oh, like, or I'll decide to cook something and then I'll realize, well, shit, I don't have the ingredients for this. So then I have to kind of make up stuff on the fly. And that just comes with like years of me kind of just cooking, learning, doing substitutes because certain things would upset my stomach. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. I need to do something different. That's how I got around to making a dish called lablabi, which is a South Tunisian chickpea stew. Oh, it is one of my favorites. Um, so when I first made one of the ingredients was like harissa, and I didn't have any harissa paste whatsoever. So, but what I do have, and what I usually have in my kitchen is gochugaru,
The
which is
gochugaru.
the Korean red pepper flakes. Um, and I think I also had gochujang, which was the Korean red pepper paste. So I used that and then I kind of like looked it up, like, okay, what's in harissa? I was like, okay, I have some of these things. Threw it all in there, to kind of substitute the harissa. And it came out so good though. And I made it a couple times. It wasn't quite the same, but still really, really good. Um, that's probably been like the favorite thing that I've made so far, maybe. But I just love cooking, especially cooking for others. A lot of Latin dishes have um they're made for like big meals, to share with people.
Hmm.
It's never just like a
Hmm.
one small thing. And that's what I like about cooking too, as I like cooking for others.
Oh no, you threw me off with the charcuterie board last time we was at the Super Bowl party. I was like, I know I'm gonna lose my mind, but is that a charcuterie board?
Oh, I love making charcuterie boards. They're so special. It's just I like trying different meats, different cheeses, and making it look pretty and everything. But mostly,
Hmm.
like I put a lot of effort into it too. A lot of love in cooking and the charcuterie boards.
The funny thing at the Super Bowl party, I was just like, "Wait, what's a charcuterie board?" I was like, "No, that's different type of cheeses and stuff too, along with meats." I was like, "Huh, this is very uniquely tasteful and very type of elegant feel to it." Which I was like, "Okay, I can definitely, I can definitely do this and stuff like that too." It's like, okay, how can I usually was not a fan of like not a fan of cheese like that. So I was like, okay, you got the charcuterie, you got this, you got that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I was like, I'm gonna leave that to her next time.
I wasn't a big fan of a lot of cheeses until I started making my own charcuterie boards and kind
Hmm.
of experimenting. Um, so a lot of what I do when I make a charcuterie board, I will go and kind of experiment a little. Like I'll put like the safe bets, the ones that like I know I like that are really, really good, and then I'll include some newer ones. I believe for Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, I had gone to Aldi, which by the way,
Mm-hmm.
Aldi's a really good place to get all this stuff. Aldi and Lidl. Like you can get
Mm-hmm.
really, really cheap cheeses, meats, crackers. That's like my go-to, how I save money on making these big fancy boards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so I went there and they had like a coffee cheese. Like it was like a
Mm-hmm.
coffee encrusted cheese. And
Hmm.
that was actually the best cheese on that board that I put on there. And I at first I was like, this is weird. This is gonna taste weird. I don't know. But a lot with cooking and stuff and the charcuterie boards, it's just kind of being brave and just going for it and exploring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to get a lot of different ones with that one. And that's actually how I found copa, which is a type of it's like a ham meat, like a cured ham. It's very thin, not quite like a prosciutto because prosciutto is very chewy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different meats and everything, but that's what I tell people. I'm like, just get something new. Like put your cheddar, your Swiss, and then go out of the box and get like two or three other ones.
If you know that many cheeses and different meats on a charcuterie board, I promise you, you can make like a mean Italian sandwich for real because it's just like with Italian certain stuff, you can just like mix different varieties of cheeses and I'm trying to remember. You can mix like a different variety of cheeses and as long as you got the same meat that goes to that sandwich, you can pretty much do anything with it. And I was thinking, oh, okay, I can make my own sandwich. I tried to was I think one time back in what year was that? 2017. I was thinking, okay, what can Asian and Italian sandwich like taste like? So I was thinking, okay, do we have any sweet chili sauce? Because I love sweet chili sauce
Oh, me too. I'm
when it
a
comes
sucker
to
for sweet chili sauce.
yeah, when it comes to Korean type of stuff, it was just like
Mhm.
I love I was like I love I don't know, I just for me it's just like for going back and forth just like with Asian places and all that other stuff. Like I fell in love with the Asian culture and it's just like going to different things where we meet at and I ain't disclosing that yet because they ain't important. But it's just like how we met and then we talked for like a little bit. Like everywhere we met is always the Asian supermarket right there. I'd be like, if you need to get certain stuff that you need, it's the Asian supermarkets. Like, for
Yeah,
some
because
reason,
they
they
don't
always,
have just Asian stuff. Like they have like around the country, they give Latin stuff,
yeah,
Indian stuff. Like, and that's what I love about them. Like, most of these Asian grocery stores don't have just specific, and they don't have just specific to one Asian culture. They'll
mm-hmm.
have Korean, Japanese, Chinese, and I love going in there just because, you can. There's so much there to try, so much new things, and that's how I've discovered so much new food.
I remember, I remember me and Ryan went back and forth on this one time. Oh man, I told him because we went back and forth over just like food stuff, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm not really that judgmental when it comes to people's favorite foods and stuff like that. And then when I mentioned to him, oh man. And I was mentioning to him because when it comes to like chicken and stuff, I like
Mhm.
to braise like certain stuff in sauces first and then fry it up so it can have that texture on the inside once it's actually fried.
Yeah.
And then he was like you be good at a carne asada. I was like, no, I'm going for the food. He's like, you ain't gonna go to cook the food too. I was like, you think a Mexican, Latina, or Guatemalan mom's gonna let me cook on a freaking carne asada? No.
You
It's
you
like,
don't know you don't trust yourself with the timing of it to make it just right.
no, I don't want to be in the way of it.
The way.
because yeah, because for some because like when I went to one, I had for some reason I had like the spices and stuff with me. It's just like, okay, do you need this certain stuff? And then when they were saying, okay, I may need this. I was like, oh, I got you and everything too. I was like, and then after I was like, dude, I can help out. I can help out and everything too. So he was like, no, 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 I got this. I was like, no, no, I can help out. Be like, puto, I got this. I was like, okay. I was like,
They're like, get out of the way.
I was like, I was like, the moment somebody called me puto, that was that I was like, okay, cool. Because like
That's
with
so rude. That's funny.
my whole career in hospitality of what I do now, I worked with just straight Hispanic women, Mexican, Guatemalan women. Like I could tell you a story, right? I will help these women out, like housekeeping and stuff, because that's what I mainly see Hispanic women do, housekeeping. Like when I
Yeah.
when I work there, I will always help when I'm free my schedule to be like, okay, I can take care of this real quick. It only takes me like 10, 15 minutes. And then afterwards, when you know, they always be like, I mean, this was the funniest, right? They always be like, "Oh, Papito, thank you for helping me." I was like, "Papito, what I do? What I do right?" I was like, "Are we a thing or something now?" I did not know it was.
Ah!
I did not know it was a term of endearment.
You're like, who you calling puppy?
No, here's the thing. I was so dead on struck by this. I was like, "Oh man, I got too many Hispanic while I was
You were
working there.
like
I'm gonna have fun
blushing
with."
and everything, like, tell me
No,
more,
but
papito.
and then when the ladies was telling me, "Oh, it's a term of endearment," I was like, "Stop playing with me. It's not no term of endearment."
It is.
But Poppy
Yeah.
Ito,
Yeah. So papi's like, like a daddy, but papito is like baby boy kind of.
I did kind of let that get to my head though, because I'm like, I was like, okay. I remember one time I was really in my feelings. One time when I was working at the one hotel before the pandemic started, and I was just like, okay, you are not gonna keep calling me Papito, and we got no bond, okay?
Oh,
We work together. You married, but you call me Papito. That's not how this works. And then she showed me the definition on her phone. I was like, but it's still got Poppy in it, so we got a connection like that.
that sounds like a you problem.
It's funny. That's what she said too. I was just like, you know what? Maybe I
Because
did.
and that's a lot of thing. It's like I think that might be more of like a cultural thing where um like for Latin people, I find that like we have a lot of what's the word? Like take a lot of pride in our
Mm-hmm.
work and we like to take care of people and like, so it's like we will give these terms of endearments to people that we work with because it's like a kind of like a appreciation for their hard work. So like
Mm-hmm.
her calling you papito was like, like she appreciates everything that, you were doing for her and it means a lot to her and it's special to her. And that's why she felt the need to communicate that. And sometimes it gets lost in translation, so understandable.
Listen, I told Ryan I was salty for at least a good minute because after finding that out, I was like, mm-mm. Like after finding that out, like I still spoke to the ladies, but I was just like, don't call me that anymore. We don't got a connection like that. Like I will take my class ring off and show that we got a bond together. But the lady was laughing at the way I was acting because I didn't know I couldn't at the time took it serious that
Yeah,
okay, Papito means the term of endearment because obviously the abbreviations in between it is Papi, and Papi
yeah.
means daddy. So I was just like,
Yeah, no, you bent out
I
of
was
shape.
yeah, I let my ego get the best of me with that. That's what I was mad about. And I was just like, okay, let me not do this and just be like, okay, let me
Ego's a
continue.
hard thing too, especially, it's such a hard thing to control.
The funny thing though, when it comes to that, that's such a simplex thing. Like it's really something not that serious to let your ego control over, but it's just like it's just a name. It's like it's a name that could possibly have the meaning, or it's a name that could possibly not have the meaning.
Yeah.
I felt some type of way though. I ain't gonna lie. I was like that. Then that goes back to the topic about food because you said you pretty much cook like not you said all cultures, right?
Yeah, I try to explore everything. I don't hesitate. I don't shy away from anything. Like I'm down to try different stuff. I've tried things. Like I said, the South Tunisian lablabi. I just was looking for, I was like, what could I make with chickpeas? And I saw this, I was like, oh, this sounds pretty yummy. I'll make that. I've made like pan con tomate, which is from
Oh,
Spain.
jeez.
It is my favorite. It is, I will tell you my secret. I will let everyone in on this secret. The secret is a cheese grater. Believe it or not. So you take the tomato, you put it on, like you grate the tomato with the cheese
Mm-hmm.
grater, and it gives it that fine texture. Same thing with the onion, same thing with the garlic. Be very careful because, the garlic's really small. You don't want to grate your fingers off. And then you put the olive oil on that, and it just creates this like really nice texture for the tomate that you put on the bread. And you get a nice baguette at this bakery, Safeway and Lidl surprisingly sell really, really good quality fresh baked bread.
Hmm.
So that's what I do for the pan con tomate. Let's see. I've cooked a lot of things from Korea. Like I like the kimchi cucumbers. Uh, I've made bulgogi, but I don't really like bulgogi. So
How are you making it is the question. It probably could be the way you're making it.
no, I've had like other cooked bulgogi and like I make it and it's just not a flavor that I usually like because it's kind of a more teriyaki flavor that
You
I
ever use
find that.
barbecue? You ever use barbecue sauce instead of teriyaki?
Yeah, I've tried that before too. It's just not my cup of tea, which is fine. Like I'll eat it if it's there in front of me. Like I don't hate it, but I won't choose it out of my own accord. Like I love kalbi. Like I love kalbi. Kalbi ribs are really, really good. Um, what else do I
Hmm.
like?
Yeah,
I love
but
Japanese seaweed salad. That's good too. That's what I'm saying. I go around oh, that's what I think I was telling you last time. There's a Thai pear salad. It is so good. You grate the pears with like a mandolin, very thin. So pears, carrots, lemon juice,
mm-hmm.
ginger,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of oil, and then whatever else you want to spice in it. So sometimes I'll put like red chili. Oh, and red chili flakes. You gotta always have that spice in there. I
I
would
would say
say the countries that I cook less from is probably like European countries.
European, they're a different ballgame when it comes to their food.
Yeah, so I haven't cooked too much in that. Like I don't really do Italian or anything. I'm just not a fan, like a huge fan of Italian. Like I'll eat it. It's just the flavors that I like are more acidic flavors, which is why I lean so heavily into a lot of like specifically Korean food because a lot of it is acidic.
Man, you would kick me out your kitchen so quick because I'd be like, oh, yeah, you where the chili all at?
Oh, I make a mean chili too, though. I love chili.
Oh no, I'm talking about chili oil.
Oh, chili oil. Oh, I love chili oil too. See, there's very few foods that like I don't like. There's foods like, they're lower on my priority list, like I'll eat them. Very few foods that I just like oysters. I will not eat oysters or mussels. That is no, that is not allowed in my. I'll cook it for other people, but not for me.
I'm not saying that oysters is a bad thing. It's just like something I wouldn't go to. It's just like, okay, if you got lobster, cool. If you got crab, cool. But like
Yeah.
oysters or
This is
it
gonna
starts
sound
with
so gross, but oysters are like they're like boogies.
ew,
They just feel gross.
I didn't never even thought of it like that till you
Yeah,
just
then
said
once you
that.
make that association, you're like, oh, it is like boogers.
I never even thought of it like that because
And people are like, you just have to add hot sauce to it. I'm like, if you have to add anything to
mm-mm.
it, it's because
You
it's
just
not good.
you just can't put just any amount of hot sauce. Like tapatio, that's a good sauce to put that type of stuff on. But above all, it's just you want to cook the certain things and all that too. But above all, it's not bad. It's just something I wouldn't go back to. It's just more like stuff that has that certain
Acquired taste.
acidity, yeah, acquired taste, certain sweetness for me, and yeah, a certain thing that can be lenient to the tongue. And that's where certain Puerto Rican foods, that's where certain aspects of certain food. I remember back in in 2017 when I was doing a culinary thing back then. It was this Japanese group from Horikawa School of Japan. I forgot which part of Japan they're at. They was telling me like a whole bunch of things about their, their cooking, the way they do it, their acidities and stuff like that. I was just, y'all do that better than me, because the way they kind of proportion things out is just it's just weird, and that goes along the lines of their sweetness, their desserts, and their smoothies too. It's just weird. That's how I kind of grew a love for certain Asian dishes, and I was just okay, cool. We can
Well,
just
yeah, different countries have different like, and that's why they say, when you go to another country, it's like your palate's a little different too. You have to kind of adapt to it. What's
mm-hmm,
sweet in one country could be considered bitter in another.
mm-hmm,
And like American sweets, I find are disgustingly sweet.
mm,
They are so, so, so sweet. It's so much sugar, and so I tend to stay away from American sweets. I definitely like a lot of softer, like just baked sweets, like a lot of those like breads that you get at like the Asian bakeries. Like those are like
mm-hmm.
or pan dulce, like but those are sugary, but in like a little bit of a different way, like not so processed way. Um, like I love pan dulce. When I used to drink coffee, now I drink fake coffee. Um, because coffee makes me violently ill. So I drink fake
Mm,
coffee, which is actually made from dandelions. Oh, I'm a big tea drinker. But yeah, it tastes like coffee, and they have different ones now. That it's all the bases like chicory root, dandelion root, and I think barley is the other, and that makes up this like artificial coffee taste. But it's just tea. I mean, it's literally just herbs that just happen to taste. Dandelion just happens to taste like coffee. So that's a
fake
good
coffee.
alternative.
Hmm. You learn something new every day. I didn't know if certain fake coffees was made from dandelions. I feel like if I drink that, I'd be sneezing, but it's okay.
Do you have a lot of allergies?
Get me started. Like my allergies have not acted up yet. Let's not jinx it, but it's I don't think my allergies will act up just from drinking fake coffee made from dandelions though, because
Usually,
I'm assuming
no.
I'm assuming they fertilize it before they, wait, can dandelions be fertilized? I mean, I'm assuming they do something with it, so the outpour of certain stuff from the plant won't go into, the tea or
Usually, a lot
whichever.
of people that have allergies to like flowers and stuff, it's like just the pollen. So if you're drinking it, you shouldn't have that issue because you're not getting any of the pollen in there.
I'm assuming you got like a whole heap of boxes of that, don't you?
Oh yeah, I can show you. I have a tea bar. So you know how people have coffee bars in their home? I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
coffee bar. I have a tea bar. It's so full to the brim that I actually think I have to upgrade my cabinetry to accommodate all my mugs and all my teas because I'm running out of space. My
So is it
shelves are full. I need more space for more tea.
so is it like that during the summer too, or you kind of mix it up during the summer?
No, I drink it year round. During the summer I will drink maybe more teas that can be iced a little bit easier,
Mm-hmm.
but like that fake coffee stuff, I will straight up make like a little like frappuccino with it because you just mix it with milk and it just tastes like coffee. So
Mm. The moment you said a whole tea, something be like, okay, don't be surprised if this cup is sad. I'm be like, hey, you got any tea? Give me.
yeah, I got all the tea. That's why I tell everyone I got all the tea.
It's funny. It's kind of unique you saying that, and let me shut up. But it's like, huh? I never knew that. So is just made with just straight dandelions, or is it made with other stuff too?
It's mixed with others. So like dandelion, chicory, and barley, if I remember correctly, are the three. I know chicory and dandelion. That's like the base one, but I want to say
Hmm.
there's like three of them. And I want to say it's barley. That's like the third ingredient. But
Okay.
that's really good. It doesn't have any caffeine though in it. So it's really nice too because I'm like uh I love the coffee flavor, so I will drink that at like midnight. And it won't wake me up because there's no natural caffeine in it. There's it's not nothing in there is caffeinated. So it's a nice drink that I can drink like anytime. So I can have my pan dulce and cafe at
Mm-hmm.
midnight if I so wish.
Hmm. Okay, and then you said regular coffee makes you sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's which is funny because I love acidic foods, but the issue with coffee is it's too acidic, and when I drink it, it just goes right through me. It just does not end well.
I learned that the hard way too. I just never thought that when it comes to coffee that I mean obviously I mean for me if you look at since we're talking about like acidity and energies and stuff when it comes to the acidity standpoint it's just like I would rather take care of that than like something with Monster, 5 Hour Energy, Red Bull, all the other stuff.
But those are all
And
equally acidic. They're all acidic, but it's the way that coffee is brewed
hmm
just brings out a lot more acidity in it, and a lot of people don't know that. So some people that have like GERD and stuff like that will get sick from drinking coffee, but they won't know it's because coffee is very acidic. One of the ways you can mitigate that is actually drinking a cold brew coffee, because cold brew coffee is made differently and the acidity levels are a lot lower than hot brewed coffee. I
yeah,
got
I'm
a
I'm
lot
a
of little information like that in my brain too.
I mean I'm more of a cold coffee guy. Like even during the winter, I would drink a cold coffee. People would just look at me
Yeah,
crazy. I just be like, I don't want to be sweating bullets in my freaking hot jacket, but hey, y'all do you. But
sometimes that hits a spot.
yeah, going back to like the aspects of food, like what country are you trying to, at least go into? Because I know you're saying you're gonna bypass Italy, you're gonna bypass, the Europe spectrum. Like you ever thought like
I won't really
Russia?
bypass it. It's just kind of like there's nothing that is like really appealing to me that's like I have to go and make that. And that's
hmm
usually what I do. I'll look at something and say, "Oh, I have to try that."
Oh yeah, I
So
usually
there
just buy.
just hasn't been anything yet.
hmm
Just yet that has been like, I want to make that. I mean, I want to make my own pasta. I think that'll be really fun.
You've never made your own pasta before?
I heard it's not too hard, but I'm also not a baker, like anything like that. Like I can cook but when it comes to baking or creating stuff like that from scratch. That's where my downfall is.
The crazy part is
Excuse me.
really the crazy part is really that simple actually because you can just it's just like when you it's just like how you made dough and stuff before, right?
Make what?
I said you made like dough and stuff before, like bread and stuff, right?
No, I have not been brave enough to get. I'm telling you, I cannot bake the same amount. You know those pre-made cookie dough things too?
hmm
I will fuck up those cookies too.
Oh no,
I just cannot bake.
it's like with bread, it's really pretty much that simple, honestly. Because with bread and pasta, it's just pretty much the same thing. Like you need the all-purpose flour, you need the all-purpose flour, you need the eggs, the olive oil, the salt. Um, that's just
Well, with baking, I find that it's a lot of trust the process. And I have not gotten to that point in baking where I can trust the process. So,
oh
I'll
no,
look at these cookies, they say, 10 minutes. I'll look at it and I'll say 10 minutes. These things look raw. We're going to keep cooking them. And
you
then
know,
I'll burn them every single time.
It's funny with the pasta, the funny thing, you really don't need the bake when it comes to obviously you need to bake with the bread, but it's just like, okay, you make the dough and then you roll it out, chop it up in little bits, put it in the water, and there you go. It's that simple when it comes to pasta. Like that's what I'm saying. When you make your own pasta, it's just so easy like that. But I understand when it comes to just the baking aspects, because I I ain't that much of a baking dude. Like
Yeah.
some people I
Well,
know
I
is
also
it's
don't eat pasta because it's also one of the things that upsets my stomach that I have found is pasta. So I actually eat now Bonza makes a chickpea based pasta. But I found that I know if it's like a gluten like sensitivity, it's not intolerance because I can eat bread fine, but pasta is something that also really, really upsets my stomach. I have a pretty sensitive tummy, so it's been a like work in progress to find out what doesn't upset my tummy.
hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm assuming you don't have olive oil in your cabinet, do you?
I do. Of course I do.
Okay. Okay, so scratch that
Or but
out.
what kind of oil do I not have? I have grapeseed oil, avocado oil, chili oil, olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. I've got all kinds of oils.
Because I'm trying to do a game in my head on which is like upsetting your stomach, but it's most likely the stuff from the eggs and the protein from the purpose flour. But hmm, okay.
It's probably the wheat because it's only pasta. Because I bread is fine. Usually most of the wheat things are okay, but pasta in particular.
Yeah.
Something it just I don't know if it's the way it's processed or if it's just too much flour at a time. I don't know, but pasta just doesn't sit right, so I just avoid it. There are wonderful alternatives like
Hmm.
I mentioned, the Banza chickpea pasta, and that pasta also has extra protein in it. So it's a win-win.
Hmm.
I get more protein, I don't get an upset tummy, and I can still have all the delicious pasta dishes.
Yeah. That makes sense because you got the alternatives of flour, so you can pretty much just go all out with it. Like you ever because since you got the alternatives for flour, the oils, you ever made you gotta one day you gotta make like sweet chili oil pasta. That was so good.
On what? On pasta? Oh,
Like
yeah.
sweet chili because like you like
Like
since you
butter noodles, but sweet chili noodles.
yeah.
That sounds awesome, actually. So maybe I will have to try that.
Yeah, I remember somebody made like a butter chicken flavored type of noodles mixed with like a little butter chicken. I was just thinking, oh man, this food is gonna be so good. But kind of going down to certain, food aspects is it's just already. So what's the goal you have in mind for your food, career in general?
When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a chef. Um, and for a while, my brother encouraged that too. He's like, you should do it, just do it, just do it. And I just found myself leaning in a different direction. Um, I leaned out towards, more medical field. I used to be an EMT actually, which a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't know that about me. A lot of people don't know a lot. I've done a lot of things in my life for being as young as I am. I am very well seasoned in life in some degree, some way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I used to be an EMT, so that's what took me away from the cooking aspect of it. But in terms of cooking, I just like exploring new foods, new flavors, trying different combinations, making new combinations.
That makes
So
sense.
I'm just food is a happy thing for me. It's comforting, it's warm, it has a lot of love tied to it for myself and for everyone. So I love cooking, and that's something that, hopefully never changes in my life.
I don't know, that's not gonna change. Because like if you got something that you love to do, I mean, continue doing it. That's what um that's what I'm a firm believer of is just, continue doing something you love to do despite, what other people be saying. Because, for me, this is just like, stupid example, but obviously I like to do the worm dance move and a lot of people don't like it. Am I gonna stop doing it? Nope. Because
Yeah,
the
it's
moment,
important to do what makes us happy.
yep. And it's just like despite certain circumstances that is just, kind of couldn't be on lenient of certain people, obviously, but it's just like why change yourself for the benefit of others?
Yeah, a
Good.
lot of people can be very judgmental sometimes, which is quite a shame. It's just the way I live my life is very treat everyone like, with kindness, be compassionate because, at the end of the day, you don't know what someone's going through
Mm-hmm.
or, their motivations. Even I even have a lot of compassion for people that aren't kind to me or, you know, just are not nice people. And that's because I don't know what they've been through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what circumstances have led them to act that way. And I try to
Mm-hmm.
just treat them with and I treat everyone this kindness, it's like, you know what, I don't know what hurt you, I don't know who hurt you, but I didn't hurt you, and
Hmm.
I'm going to show you that that's not who I am, and I'm going to project that kindness onto them, and hopefully, changes their view on the world, and that they can be a little bit happier. And that's kind of how I live my life. It's just, trying to bring peace and happiness to others.
Yeah, I try to do the same thing, but obviously just people don't like.
Some people are so caught up in their own misery that they cannot stand other people being positive, being, compassionate towards others, because they themselves don't have that. And it's like a deep insecurity where that they just feel the need to project that and to attack others and bring them down to their level, in a
Hmm.
way. But, all we can really do is just, be who we are and just be kind and treat everyone with compassion in that aspect. And hopefully, they kind of change their tune.
I kind of doubt it for some people, but yeah, I get what you mean though. But it's just
And
cause
I get what you mean too, like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. That certainly that's at times have bit me in the rear, and but I don't ever regret it, because that's what to me will make me feel better, like every day, knowing that I did my best. I put out good stuff into the world and stuff.
you pretty much said it. Wow, it's weird. You be reading my mind, but it's like
That's one of my other talents. I can read minds.
if you can read minds, I would have lost my mind. Be
If
like,
I could read minds, I wouldn't have as much trouble as I do sometimes.
like when I was talking to you earlier, I was like, you know how much of a great, awesome life I would have if I can read minds. Just be like, okay, who can I tell who's talking bad behind me, and who can I tell there's just like who's not. What's the word I'm looking for? Who's not shit as a friend, you know?
Yeah, like, and
Because
that would be nice to know sometimes, but at the same time, it's you can't let yourself get too consumed by those type of thoughts too, because at the end of the day, you're always gonna have haters. People are always gonna talk badly about you for one reason or another,
hmm.
and all you can really do is just try to be a person that people can't really talk shit about. And one of the things that, like, recently I've been dealing with a lot of bullshit like that. But the problem is that no one can say anything about me. In fact, it's been the opposite. People are like, you, what's the words? I, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail about it, but I got us in trouble, quote unquote, with a certain group, quote unquote, and it's just the outpouring, like, support that I've got is just like, why would they do this to you? You've done nothing wrong. You are, such a positive person. And, one of the things that someone told me that really stuck with me is they're like, you are what a community member should be. Like, you are what makes a community, like you are one of the good people that, like, creates that community that makes people feel welcome and included. So it was very hurtful to know that, I was, basically kicked out, and that without an explanation. I still to this day don't really know why, and I don't think I'll get closure on that, which is very upsetting, um, because especially because I don't, what's the words? I was told I did something wrong, but I don't know what I did wrong. And how can we improve if we don't know where to start? So,
I mean, to be honest, from just you know, learning about that recently and um knowing certain things is just like, okay, you know, it's two sides to every story.
there's three sides. I'll tell you. There's, you know, for the sake of make it easy, his side, her side, and the truth. That's really the aspect of it. And a lot of things can be deduced. You take one side of story, then deduce what the actual truth is. But sometimes, in rare occasions, there are people that, there's his side, her side, and the truth, but one side is straight full of shit. I've been witness to that. Not in my particular situation. Again, I can't even give any context because I have absolutely no idea, like literally not a single idea what I'm even in trouble for. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just very baffling to me. And I think it's also very compassionless of them because the whole situation has caused me so much anxiety and just, I already struggle a lot with depression and anxiety. And, when this first happened, I told them, I said, "Oh my God, like, what did I do? Did I hurt someone? Like, did I say something wrong? Let me know what I did. Either I can apologize or, like, what can I do to be better? I don't like making people feel bad for anything. I mean, I'll say
Mm-hmm.
something, even just joke, I'll joke with my friends and be mean. And then if I see like any little sliver of like that they didn't take the joke well, I immediately like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they're like, oh no, you're fine. I'm just like, oh, okay, so just me panicking for nothing. Um, Go ahead. I lost my train of thought anyways.
I, this is, I mean, obviously, my issue is, but it's just like, mm, I keep it to myself, but this is like my issue is, I'll get you in a second. Be quiet. Um, my issue is just like, I've seen friends and been in that certain instance where, okay, despite um despite all of the, let's say, evidence that I got is being the correct one for the situation, right? From personal things I'm dealing with, people will still, stick with that exact same side. That's the quota I may never understand. And I know, like, from what you told me, like, I still gotta understand that there's like, and just let it be. But it's just like, okay, I still let it be though. But it's just like, I never get that quota. It's just like, okay, you got this, that's not true, but yet you want to stick with them. Like, I get it, but at the end, I still never understand it.
Stick with who?
Um, I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like, let's say for example, right?
Like stick with
For
someone that was speaking ill of you?
no, well, it could be that, or just like, let's say it's like a certain situation that the people, everybody knows this person is lying, right? But they still choose to stick with that person. That's what I
And,
mean.
I think that's a little similar thing. It's not quite my thing, but it's a little bit related where it's funny that I'm the one that got the boot, got kicked out, but someone within the community that is, you know, um, really just someone that is just, they don't bring a lot of positivity. They
Mm-hmm.
tend to bring a lot of negativity, whether it be intentional or they might genuinely be doing it unintentionally. And, but how do I say this? And I'm just gonna say it. So it's funny that they kicked me out, but there's someone that assaulted another member, um, you know, physically and verbally, and yet they're still allowed to be within there because they're being protected. And that kind of goes
Mm-hmm.
into what you're saying that, people will quote unquote pick a side even if it's not the truth. And it's just absolutely wild to me that and that's not something that like I'm actually like kind of okay with that. That's why I'm not super bothered by it because that's not the community that I want to be involved with. If this is a type of behavior that's permitted to happen, that's not what I want to be a part of. That's not what I want to be associated with because I want everyone to feel safe. And, we can talk about all of our problems like adults without resorting to violence, without resorting to threats. Like that's just very, it's just not, we're adults. We shouldn't be behaving like this. Isn't high school.
Yeah, that I get that. It's just with that. I mean, despite me not knowing everything and everything is none of my business, but it's just like, okay, yeah, like how is this certain thing, you know, fair, But at the end of the day, I can't speak on how people read their minds. But at the end of the day,
Well, it's not fair. It's playing favorites in a way. Obviously I've only been a part of that community. I'd only been a part of that community for a few months. So a lot of people don't realize that. I only joined around like late October. Technically September was the first event that I had gone to, but I didn't
hmm
really get to talk to people a lot more till like late October, early November. And,
hmm
in doing so, when I started opening up, being a little bit more brave, and that was me coming out of my shell. I've always tried to look for community somewhere where I belong. And that's, I had thought that I had found this community. So, I'd quickly grade myself with everyone and, just being nice to people and just talking to so many people. And I know so many people. And that's why when this happened to me, a lot of people I counted after the fact, after I posted the story about it, I had over 50 DMs of people saying, like, what the heck happened? Why is this happening to you? You are the one person that this should not be happening to.
the moral compass of that thing, because like as I said, you said to me, it's like a lot of things I don't know about it as well. It's just like, okay, from things that I've heard, and then you clearly see me, I was in the, in the focal point when those things is going down. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird, but you told me, let you handle that. You said, you
Hey,
said like,
I'm not even trying to handle it at this point because,
oh no, it's no point, but
I can only do what I'm gonna do, and just, at the end of the day, my actions are gonna speak for themselves, and I clearly have proven myself to the quote unquote court of the people, in
hmm
a way. So I am, I'm trying to let it go. It's been a little hard thing because, like I said, it's just for me, it's just that's just not who I am. It's just not in my nature.
I mean, I
So
told
it's hurtful. It's hurtful. It is. I wanted this was a community that came to my life when I really needed it. And it's hurtful that I was welcomed in so quickly, but then also kicked out so quickly, and then without even reason.
like when that happened, I was just like, the main thing that could go in my head, I was like, adorable, 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 adorable. I keep saying to myself, I was like, why the freak am I repeating this to myself? And then when you introduced me, and when you introduced me to Ryan, I was like, oh hey man, we talked earlier and stuff like that. And then you two know each other. I was like, no. Because the way you said it so feisty, I was like, yeah, let me not pretend I don't know him. Because I was like, okay, she's nice, she's small, but she got a feisty attitude when she gets angry. It's not a bad thing.
That's a Latina.
That's not a bad thing at all, to be honest. Because I said this to you. I said this to you plenty of times. I was like, that's not a bad thing at all. Because you always ask me, is my attitude bad? I was like, no, not really. It's like you're gonna have. I said to you, you're gonna have justifiable reasons when you get angry, and you're gonna have random reasons when you get angry, and then you're gonna have the third one when you get mad at me for no reason. When I'm just being like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?"
No, I don't get angry. I'm so hard to like actually upset. Like I'm just not easily offended.
Why are you lying to me right there?
I am not
You know I'm
lying.
messing with you. I'm messing with you, but no, I no because the crazy part is just like you know because like with me and you, I was like, yeah, this friendship is gonna last a good long while, probably even 10, 20, 50 years. I don't know. But it's just like with that, I was just like, okay, let me let me talk to her about comfortable things first to build a trust. Because when you first meet somebody, you can't trust them that easy. You gotta. build up that certain thing. But for some reason with you, it just clicked like that. And I was like, okay, I trust her. First meeting.
I've found, and a lot of people have told me this, that they just, I just have a vibe that people trust me. And sometimes people will tell me stuff when I first meet them or like the second time I meet them, they'll just tell me stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like they'll tell me like their childhood traumas. They're like, because they just feel safe with me. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going that route. And and I don't I don't shy away from it. I'm like, okay, we're doing that. But it's always like shocking to me because I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I give off this like it's weird because growing up I was told, that I was unapproachable, that they're like, oh, you just kind of didn't seem like someone we could go
But
to. And I'm
I don't
like,
know who
I am
said that. I
literally
don't
a
know.
marshmallow. I'm like, I'm so nice. I'm like shy and full of anxiety. Like I don't.
I don't know who said that, but they need to get these hands. But anyway, it's just like I never got that vibe from you because I got more of a motherly vibe from you, to be honest. Till you started yelling at me for my height, but like I got more of a motherly vibe from you, and that's very comforting, actually. And it's just like a lot of people, was saying, it's just like, okay, she's, because like personally for me, it's just like, because like every time when we was at the certain, things and stuff like that, events where it was outside the other thing or not, it was just like, okay, I'm always bumping into you for some random reason. I was like, okay, she's doing this, she's good. Let me go do my thing. 15, like a minute later, she's right there. I was like, okay, she must be teleporting. This is weirding me out because
Nah, you know that meme with the little the Ted the bear where it's like,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
friend,
yeah.
it's like that one friend at the party, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay right here.
No,
And it starts running. That's literally me. Like I just be
no,
hopping everywhere because I talk to people and I like to talk to new people, especially new people. I'm like, oh, you're here. Hello, welcome. Like,
no,
I try
because
to go out of my way to do that.
and I was saying that because like it was just like for me, it was just like despite the circumstances we've discussed them before, it's like okay, that's kind of funny because when I'm moving around, she's right there. I see what she's doing. She's having a good time. I'm not gonna bother with that. Except that one time when Katie brought me in to dance with her, and I was just like, no, 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 I gotta go. And she was like, do the worm. I was like,
Do
yes,
the
ma'am.
worm. She demanded it.
Man,
Anthony,
she's
I am enjoying this so much, but I do have to get going soon.
oh yeah,
This is
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
turn into a two-part episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. I kind of yeah. I got like 23 emails, just letting you know. By the way. So
Yeah. See, we're getting wrapped up in time. Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna need a
yeah, I
part
forgot
two.
about that. I'll if you want to do it next week, I can get a triple header in. So because I got 2 episodes next week, that I can slide
Oh,
you in there.
yeah, we could do that. That'd be so much
Okay,
fun.
okay, cool, cool, cool. So
And
yeah.
maybe some interesting things we'll have some new developments.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, well, this has been episode 44 of the Wolfshade Podcast. I mean, we got in an hour already. Thank you, Miss Sinna, for joining me and stuff like that. Thank you for everybody that's been checking out. This will be uploaded at 8 p.m. Eastern time today. Stay on the lookout for part 2 next week. And yeah, have a good one.
Thanks.
You stay here though.